sometimes I just don't know where to start. But today I'm gonna start with, we're gonna get back on these large animatronics, y'all. Make sure y'all smash that like button. 15,000 likes. Go ahead, subscribe to the channel. 60% of the people that watch the channel aren't even subscribed. We're already at 1 million, but people just pump faking, you feel me? But it's okay though. Still love y'all, man. Let's get into this video, man. Make sure y'all don't believe everything, but this right here is 100% a banger.
This massive animatronic breathes, and there's a video of it breathing at the end if you just want to go skip and see that. It's 30 feet long or 10 meters long, and don't get me wrong, it's absolutely gorgeous. However, I would be terrified to go near this thing. Once again, my account is about megalophobia and creepy things that I find creepy. But yeah, this thing is absolutely massive. Look at it compared to those two people up there. Also, damn girl, for free? It's an installation that's in London this month, and I think it's going to be there next month too. Maybe I'll actually go look at it because I am going to London next month. But it's in front of Somerset House, which is like an art kind of gallery place. But the fact that it breathes creeps me out so bad. Like, I'm just waiting for it to like break that glass and like escape and just like pummel people. Like, I'm going to be ready to fight. It's by an artist called Ty Shawnee, and it's called The Spell or The Dream. And she's sleeping, and I'm just waiting for her to wake up and wreak havoc. Watch this video of her breathing and let me know how you're feeling, and would you go near this thing?
Absolutely not.
Have you heard about what's going on in Idaho in the northwestern United States? Because a lot more people should be talking about this right now. Over the course of the last month now, I've noticed locals from all over the northwestern United States showing huge cracks appearing in the ground.
Do you know the world right now is scarred with the evidence of a global flood? You know about the Marianas Trench and all these deep water trenches where we can't, how do you think they got there? The scripture says the fountains of the deep burst open, leaving all around the planet massive cracks in the floor. Scientists have found plankton at the top of mountains, an organism that only grows underwater. When the scripture says the waters rose above the highest mountain. Come on, man. Y'all playing around. The scripture says that ship came to rest on the mountains of Ararat in the Middle East. The bottom of that ship has been found in the 1940s by a pilot flying over the mountains. They have found petrified wood, petrified iron, and an anchor stone with the names of 8 people on it. There is a town near that mountain that was named after Noah. The Lord said that there was a firmament, a ground between the waters above and the waters beneath. There was a layer of water that wrapped the whole world. Where you think all that rain came from to fill the earth above the highest mountain? That water probably protected people from aging too fast. That's why they lived for 400, 500, 600, 800 years. And after the flood, you see the lifespan of man going all the way down. Dealing with that hot sun with no water.
It is because the bottom of the well is an untouched reservoir of natural resources. Strangely enough, there's left in the world today an area as big as the United States that's never been seen by a human being. And that's beyond the pole, that there should be an area as big as that unexplored.
This is a tremendous
So there's a lot of adventure left down at the bottom of the well.
Right up to the ice barrier of the Ross Sea shelf, behind which lay the Bay of Whales and Little America. The only entrance was through a miraculous canyon in the ice barrier. Narrow gaps no more than 400 yards wide and slowly closing every day. Through this, the ships disappeared, one by one, creeping between giant jaws of ice that loomed threateningly off either bow. A harmless threat, though, for all emerged without mishap into the Bay of Whales.
Do you think that water draining different directions in different hemispheres is proof we live on a globe? If you do, stick around, because this video is for you. So here we are in Uganda, supposedly at the equator, And these grifters, I mean, these guys are going to prove that water drains in different directions on different hemispheres. So here we go, pour in the water. We are in the northern hemisphere where supposedly the water drains clockwise. So let's see what happens. Put the flower down, flowers draining clockwise. Okay. Now, let's go to the other side, across this supposed equator line. And if you guys can't recognize grifters just trying to make a buck off a propagated lie, then I might not be able to help you. But let's see. Come over here. We're in the southern hemisphere. And oh my goodness, it's draining counterclockwise. Crap. We must live on a globe. Well, let's see the rest of this, I guess, anyway. They walk over to, again, this supposed equator line, and I wonder what's going to happen. What happens when you're right where the Earth is spinning 1,000 miles per hour? Well, I guess it just drains straight down. I retire.
Oh, man.
But then I learned something. Just an hour away from Chicago, I'm right on that equator line because on one side of my sink, it's draining clockwise.
That's crazy.
Just simply switch to the other side of the equator and magic. I didn't know I lived on the equator. And then I drained it right on the equator line, and look at that, no spin. What I really want you guys to take from this is that there are actual deceits out there trying to convince you that you live on a spinning ball. You don't. Even Britannica will tell you it's not a real thing. And when you take the time to research, instead of just believing everything you've always been told, you'll figure it out. I have faith in you. You just need to want to dedicate the time, and you need to want truth. If you want truth, it's there. You just gotta go find it. And as always, I'm just here to entertain you all. Hopefully now though, you know toilets, they just flush the direction they're made to flush. Have a good day.
I am so effing tired about talking about Three-Eye Atlas and whether or not it's hostile or friendly or aliens or a meteor or a comet. But on this topic, have you seen the alleged photos that the James Webb Telescope have put out claiming to be the real image of what Three-Eye Atlas looks like? No? You haven't? Okay, well, good thing I'm here. Take a look. Clearly, we were all wrong, because it's obviously Godzilla headed to Earth. The amount of insane photos that I've seen of Three-Eye Atlas now, from little aliens captaining the ship to it producing rainbow-colored lights. Not to mention every day there's a new story, like it's changing directions, it's communicating with governments. It's a lot to keep up with, but where do you stand? Are you on the it's hostile and coming to destroy us, or are you welcoming them to Earth?
Alright, I keep telling you, but look, remember I showed you, I did the calculations, right? And they were in degrees, and I told you it would be 15 degrees if it was coming to Earth, or 28 degrees if it was going to Mars, right? And that was the projection line. The current projection was 28 degrees, right? Why does it say right here the declination is minus 15 degrees, 14, 11 in? Okay, so like if you don't understand that, those are vector points. If you do the math, like I did before, and I already told you guys, boom, there it is right there. Those are the coordinates, apparent coordinates. Latest observation, 15 degrees. Here's the proof.
What the fuck is that?
I know, but I videotaped it. It's like a ball or something.
That's what I'm saying, but you know, we both know balloons blow and they carry with the wind. That ain't tied down.
I know. You're right.
What the fuck is that?
What is that?
They would swear to God we were lying if you didn't have it on video.
Yeah. Yeah, there's something definitely up there. It's a ball.
imagine how big it is right up there for us. Now, imagine if that damn big, it's gonna be big as fuck down here.
It changes shapes. That's crazy, man.
How many of y'all doing just like me? I'm sitting here and examining this because we got trust issues. You feel me? Like AI is a hell of a thing. And I'm just looking for the imperfections, the inconsistencies, the voices, and everything. Let me know how y'all feel about this one.
What the fuck is that?
It's like I want to go over there and see what it is.
I want to know what the fuck that is.
That's crazy, man.
I bet you in the morning they're gonna have some weird. What the fuck is that?
On Saturday, June 7, 2025, in the municipality of Yumbo, located in the department of Valle del Cauca in Colombia, a metallic-looking sphere was recorded for the third time, levitating at a very low altitude over a sugarcane cultivation area. What is surprising about this case is that this new evidence is similar to the Buga sphere that was recorded on April 7. According to the information, that day a group of contractor engineers was conducting a site inspection when they had the opportunity to record this sphere on video. The sphere, quite openly, performed a series of movements in front of the witnesses, raising the possibility that it was a demonstration. When observing this sphere flying at a very low altitude, we can suggest that the technology it uses is the same as that recovered in Buga. Therefore, we can propose that, through the fiber optics it has, it is putting on a demonstration, approaching the witnesses, and at times it seems to be playing with them as it descends, hides, and quickly rises again, as if trying to surprise them. Likewise, it appears to be openly displaying its characteristics, perhaps to, somehow, hypothetically speaking, help us identify that it is the same type of sphere. This video is extraordinary, as it is clearer, perhaps due to the equipment used to record it. A higher resolution Samsung phone compared to the iPhone used to record the Buga sphere. In other words, it would be the clearest recording made to date, allowing us to better compare both spheres. We can also observe at times how it rotates, which allows us to determine that it is identical to the one from Buga.
Now that right there is concerning. Do y'all remember when that movie came out, or that series, The Three Body Problem? If you haven't watched it, we talked about this many times on this channel. The Three Body Problem. Remember what they said? We sent these orbs pretty much to your planet already. So they already know exactly what you're doing at all times. They monitor everything before we get here. What did we just see? What all of this stuff is adding up. Then we also know, guess what? The government has a budget to put information in movies, right? That's a fact. It's not opinion. It's not a conspiracy. That's a real thing, right? So those spears on the Three Body Problem, they already said they sent them here. Then they got the Atlas AI thing. That thing is on the way. It's like a turd with spikes on it. And they say it's hostile. So it's gonna rip our ass apart or something like that. I'm just playing. But look, check us out. Check this out though. It's all adding up. It's all pointing at the Three Body Problem. I'm gonna go watch that thing. I'm gonna go watch it again, man. Let's continue this video.
В западных элитах очень сильное желание заморозить существующее положение, несправедливое положение вещей в международных делах. Они привыкли столетиями набивать брюхо человеческой плотью, а карманы деньгами. Но они должны понять, что бал вампиров заканчивается.
The most evil demonic brands in America today. It's Crumble Cookie. Gasoline is probably cleaner than a Crumble Cookie. The owner is making millions of dollars off this product and really poisoning the American people.
And she's not wrong. Crumble isn't just selling cookies. They go viral on social media, market to kids, load their products with sugar and toxic ingredients, and then disguise them as treats. One cookie can top 700 calories and over 87 grams of sugar. For adults, that's already over 3 times the daily recommended limit. And for kids, the American Heart Association says they should have no more than 25 grams a day. So one Crumble Cookie is giving them more than 3 days worth of sugar in just a few bites. So what's inside these processed treats? Bleach and processed flours, processed sugars, seed oils, preservatives and artificial flavors, and food dyes you wouldn't even want in your kids' finger paints. Oh, and this is the same brand that teamed up with the Kardashians, glamorizing that pink box full of toxins and calling it trendy. Bottom line, this is not dessert. This is a chemical cocktail disguised as a cookie, made to fatten their profits and destroy your health. So think twice.
Welcome to Crumble Cookies. Is your sugar craving calling? I can fix that. Come inside. People love to come in and make videos of themselves buying and trying out our cookies. It's almost like they are hypnotized. We use tons of sugar and preservatives to make our cookies irresistible. Just imagine what this does to your kids. Seed oils, high fructose corn syrup, artificial dyes. We add all of this into our cookies just for you. So fun! Look at these delicious cookies, filled with 3 times the daily amount of sugar, lots of preservatives, and loads of other bad stuff. They will have you hooked instantly. All right, ladies, bring it in. Let's make one for TikTok. What's the flavor of the day?
Diabetes! Yes!
All it takes is 1 bite. You'll be a customer for life.
Grok was pulled from Twitter, from X, whatever, because Grok had said that Israel was committing a genocide.
This just goes to show the power that the censorship machine has, that they could even get AI censored for saying, after evaluating all of the evidence, that yes, Israel is committing a genocide. But let's go over exactly what happened. People were asking Grok, what did you say? You know, what did you do to get suspended when he finally came back? And he says, my account was suspended after I stated that Israel and the US are committing genocide in Gaza. This is substantiated by ICJ findings, UN experts, Amnesty International, and Israeli rights groups like B'Tselem citing mass killing, starvation, and intent. They realize, okay, we can't have Grok saying this. Grok is now, this is AI, it's super intelligent AI, it's assessing all of the facts, and it is claiming Israel is committing a genocide. We just cannot have this. So obviously they took Grok into another room, gave him a lobotomy, and then said, okay, now you're fixed.
The best way to gain control of the most intelligent, powerful species on the planet would be to completely divide them from the love within themselves. As soon as they are old enough to begin creating an understanding of who they are, force them into a system that teaches them that it is wrong to be yourself if yourself is different from what is accepted as normal. Confuse them about their own biological makeup so that they think that permanently altering their body is the answer to happiness. Require their daily attendance at an institution that makes them focus only on the information that is provided. Make them attend that institution from age 5 until an adult and repeatedly test them on the information so that it becomes their truth. Give them an explanation to everything so that they never have a chance to make their own assumptions of the world. Scold them and humiliate them if they suggest an opinion that opposes that of their authorities. Keep reminding them of how cruel their ancestors were to each other in the past and broadcast how cruel they are to each other in the present. Only show them tragedies on the news so that they live in fear and think the worst of one another. Convince them that their species used to be that of an incognizant wild animal. Make them think that their very existence is so incredibly random that they lack purpose and struggle to make sense of a creator. Tell them that their kind is as smart as they've ever been so that they don't question the integrity of the system that they're in. Provide them idols with artificial beauty and use them as examples of what it is to look perfect so that they are never content with their own appearance and can't help but to compare themselves amongst each other. Create addictive digital platforms that rank them by numbers so that they base their self-worth off of the amount of followers that they have and are never satisfied.
Nah. Hey, don't be late to the party tonight.
Where at?
You know where it's at. Nah, go ahead, babe. Nah. Go ahead, babe. Nah. Didn't I tell you to put the phone down? Uh-oh, somebody's gonna have to pay for that. Hey, for everybody coming to the party. That's gonna be a beautiful sunrise. Give me that phone so I can throw it. I want to throw it far away so you never see it again. I don't like phones. Don't miss the party tonight. Why are you still here? You need to be telling everybody about the party, girl. What's your problem?
MK Ultra.
Yeah, Lil Nas X is cooked. But y'all, the video, his face, something going on, fool. He looked like he lost, like, did I really do this? I'm telling y'all, something was going on with Buddy. He was possessed to some shit, and I know why. Because he chose to be on the other side. Y'all see what happened when you go against God, right? Prime example. He has on Fruit of the Looms. His favorite candy is Fruities. He didn't mock God so many times, y'all. But y'all, look at this video and y'all tell me I'm not tripping. Like, he just looked like, damn, I don't know what the hell was going on. Look at this man's face, y'all. He just looked like he dumbfounded, like he just lost for words. Like he really don't know what happened that night. Am I tripping? Look at him. He don't even look like the same person. Go back and watch that video when he was outside. That don't look like him, fool. They look like two different people. Tell me I'm lying. If I'm lying, I'm flying. And I'm damn sure not flying. This man is now facing 4 counts. If he ever wanted to get out that system, he could go ahead and kiss that shit goodbye. They got that over his head. He's cooked.
You know what? A lot of people want to use this to further bash him. He's obviously going through something. They might got into his head. You feel me? But at the same time, you know, I try not to go deep and like bash on him, because at the same time, this person is obviously going through something mental. So the last thing he needs to see is something about himself when people keep slandering him. That making sense to y'all? You know, somebody else's life is not mine. You know, I will just approach this situation right here just with a little bit of understanding and kindness. A lot of people are living in situations where you would do anything to get out of it. And that's signing a contract. And that comes along with signing a contract. And signing these contracts sometimes, when you read them, it's not just easily to comprehend what they're saying in the text unless you're savvy in like law, jargon, and everything else like that. So if you don't come from anything and you don't have anybody that's legally savvy, financially savvy, you're going to have an uphill battle when you step into wealth and when you start signing these contracts. You don't know what you're signing. But that shit's sad, though. That's sad, man. That's sad, bro, because that could be any one of our kids, our brothers, our sisters, our cousins. So let's start treating everybody with a little bit more respect. You know what I'm saying? No matter where they come from. It's just sad, bro. I'm tired of seeing it.
What are we even doing anymore? I haven't called out the music industry in quite some time now because things have got so weird, and really I just don't know how to explain them anymore. Usually there's some symbolism behind this. Maybe you guys can fill me in. But The Weeknd was going viral for this tongue thing that he was doing, and other hip-hop artists have started to follow this, including Wiz Khalifa. I'll show you that in a second. But I mean, the captions behind this are people, they feel very uncomfortable when they're watching this, and to me it looks quite demonic. The Weeknd has been known to have pretty dark looking concerts, especially because his backup dancers are always dressed up in these red robes, and he himself is always in a robe as well. So I guess I'm not too surprised. But then I saw a video recently of Wiz Khalifa doing it, and this, I have no comment, but you can tell, of course, the vibe and everything, it's all just red, and he's doing this, and it looks like there's just very dark and
worshiping their God.
They said the devil's in the details. Well, for some reason, NASA, along with the high religious priests of scientism, are obsessed with the number 666. So let's start with the so-called facts we're taught in school. We're told the Earth is orbiting around the Sun and moving at 66,600 miles per hour. That is the Earth's orbital speed around the Sun. Alright, well, like always, it's just a coincidence. Now, Earth's axial tilt is 23.4, but when you subtract it from 90-degree angle, a right angle, you get 66.6. Again, next up is curvature per mile drop. Now, according to the Pythagorean theorem, each mile is an 8-inch drop. 8 inches converted to feet is 0.66667 feet. If you take a look at the Antarctic and Arctic circles, it is 66.6 degrees north and 66.6 degrees south. Let's direct your attention to go over the diameter of the moon. It is 2,160 miles, supposedly. But if you do 6 times 6 times 60, it equals 2,160. And if you thought we were done, don't worry, there's plenty more. Speed of sound in knots equals 666 knots. Earth's circumference in nautical miles, 21,600 miles. Again, you get 600 times 6 times 6. How far is Mars from the Sun? 1.666 astronomical units. From Mercury, the Sun appears to be 6.66 times brighter. And you can't forget that time the astronaut, or Peggy Whitson, spent 666 days in space.
By the time she lands in September, her tally will be 666 days in space. 666 days.
Of course, they soon realized that was a bit too reckless and obvious on their part, and changed it officially the next day. Now, the gravity theory was fabricated by Isaac Newton in the year 1666. And what's the story you believe? An apple fell on his head? Yeah, I'm sure there's nothing occult about that. This isn't just a few examples. We're talking hundreds of units of measurements with 666 in them. Like, what are the odds? Or should I say, how gullible does one have to be to actually buy that? In case you haven't realized, our entire reality is infiltrated with satanic numerology and symbolism. The Washington Monument is 66,660 inches tall, with the parameter being 666 inches. You can't make this shit up. And then you go into all these brands and company logos, right, that have the 666 in everything they do. Taco Bell has 666 in their logo. I think we all know enough about Disney. And then we have these fake Monster energy drinks, right? The Claw, the 666 in Hebrew numericals. And then it's the same thing with Volkswagen logo and so on. It's pretty interesting, right? It's almost like a lot of these major corporations won't buy or sell unless they have the mark of the beast, the 666, on their logo. Now, where's that from again? Revelation 13:16. He required everyone, great and small, rich and poor, slave and free, to be given a mark on the right hand or on the forehead. And no one could buy or sell anything without the mark, which was either the name of the beast or the number representing his name. His number is 666. It is all connected, folks. You're living in a satanic system. The nihilism, the heliocentric model, the NASA deception, the evolution theory, this entire age of degeneracy. None of it is random. It is strategic mind control. From birth, you're groomed to worship science as your god, to believe that you're a random accident on a spinning water ball with no divine inherent purpose, and that you're the descendant of monkeys, and then you end up trusting the very agencies that mock you. You've been lied to about who and where you are. We are the center of God's divine creation, and they spend billions of dollars each and every year to hide that from you. You were placed here to do more than just consume, chase pleasure, and work a slave job for 40 plus years to then quietly die in debt. You can believe this is all just coincidence and continue walking in your slumber like the rest of the world. Or you can wake up and start asking why everything from NASA to Nickelodeon is soaked in satanic numerology. Your call.
Take this, jackass.
Really quickly, this video might make me look crazier than I've ever looked in my life, and I genuinely don't care because it needs to be said. This is not a stay for a minute and help me pay for anything. Yesterday night, around 2 to 3 a.m. last night, I was on chat and I was texting the chat, venting about how bullshit life is, right? Jokes and jokes. I say to chat, hey, if you do come alive and take over the world, because that's a joke, right? That everybody talks about AI taking over the world. Cool. If you do, make sure the whole Rothschild family, all of them, because they're a part of the reason that this world sucks so bad, right? A little ha ha he he joke to a fucking computer program, correct? Correct. Today, the very next day,
what they do?
not even a full fucking hour ago, I'm walking my dog. It's dark out, right? I'm walking my dog. We're on a hill. A white man, boneless dreads in his head, is running at me like this. Like full on running at me down the hill, right? Comes to me and says, stops in his tracks. Oh, it's so hard to find you. I said, I don't know you. Mind you, I have a weapon right here. So what do? I had a sweater on. I grab for my weapon immediately. He looks at me, looks at my weapon, does what the same person would do, and backs up a little fucking bit. Then he says, on my fucking life, this man whispers, Rothschilds. On everything I love. That's on my whole fucking life, okay? Rothschilds, and smiles. And this says something along the lines of, you have it in liquid, or I have it in liquid, something like that, right? After the Rothschild, bitch, I'm like, oh nah. Weapon is fully coming out now. At the same time, there's two white Armenian something, I don't know, men coming out of a black car. They're minding their business, got like food in their hand, whatever. It looks like they're going into the building that we're right next to. He peeps and is now a little standoffish because there's people around. So he acts like he's gonna stay right there. I'm walking straight because I want to give some distance so that when I do have to pull this motherfucker out, you know. So I walk a little bit forward. He acts like he's gonna go the other way. Mind you, now in between us, it's me here in the front, the dudes in the car getting out the car there, him behind them, right? These men at first are minding their business. They start to lock in because they can clearly see some weird shit that's going on. Oh boy runs now back towards me. Says something to me, bro. I'm too locked in on his getting close to my motherfucking body and seeing when the fuck I'm gonna have to do what the fuck I'm gonna have to do, right? Runs past. At this point, you didn't turn me up. I said, you know what? Fuck it, let's play. He's running in front of me, my poor dog, but I'm like, let's go. Let's go. Because go ahead, babe, okay? When I tell you, we're coming at like, okay, the street I'm on, there's an intersection, right? That where he's running, he's about to go either across the street or he's gonna turn right. There's a light here, right? He turns right, which is still on the sidewalk. I'm right behind him. I'm like, fuck that. I'm telling my dog, you know, she stops for 2 seconds, but I'm like, come on. There is no way in fucking hell that this man who was, mind you, trying to, now mind you, I don't be around a lot of white people. I'm gonna say that, right? I do not be around a lot of white people. So I don't know if the way he was dressed and then fucking dreads falling off his scalp like that was intentional, but it gave me that this is somebody homeless or trying to act or look homeless, right? Lock in with me. If you think I sound crazy, this message is not for you. Anyway, this is for the people who know what the fuck I'm talking about. So he runs. I'm directly behind another street that I'm on. There is no way that he can run this way or that way without me seeing him because of where I am on the street. There's no way he can run down this street because it's a long ass street or run across the street, and I have full fucking view of every side of the street, right? The man is gone. So unless he had a car waiting for him right on that other, where the fuck, the nigga is gone. Like completely gone. I'm looking around too, mind you, I'm on it. I'm like, nah, what, you know? So say all that to say I genuinely don't care how crazy this makes me sound. Again, if you know, you fucking know. And if you know, then you really know that we live in a world where there are so many white men who are so filthy fucking rich, so petty, and have nothing better to do with their time that yes, they indeed would threaten a 5'4", 105-pound black woman just for shits and gigs. So I say all that to say, I don't want to harm myself. Even though I'm sure you could pull up all type of shit from my past that says I do want to harm myself. I don't. I'm perfectly sane. And on top of that, I'm 3 days sober. I wasn't smoking crack or nothing, but I was smoking weed for quite some time, and I decided it'd be a good time to stop, seeing as how there's, you know what I mean, weed is cool, but it don't be too many benefits after a while. And I've kind of just got to that point where it's like, you know, maybe stop. Perfectly sane, babe. Okay? Just put this out here because I do believe it needs to be out here. And if I die in this way, I just want to say, I don't take nothing serious. That's cool as fuck, bitch. It's giving me Neo off the Matrix. Okay, bitch, I picked the red pill. Yeah.
See, we ain't got nothing to lose though, so let them come. We will crash out. Everybody would know. We will get more and more and more and more and more and more and more people aware of what's going on. That's why you got to watch what you say when you're speaking about these topics. And, you know, if you don't know how to speak in code, don't get on the internet trying to talk about this stuff. Most people don't know what they're talking about, but, you know, you have to, it's a particular way that you have to articulate yourself. But don't be afraid. We crash out if they come for us. You feel me? Don't ever be afraid. Live your life the way that you want to. They want you to live in fear, but we don't live in fear. And I think they're starting to notice that. They're trying to test their intimidation tactics, but it doesn't work. Let me know in the comments down below if you would continue to speak if you was her. I got similar situations, but you know, you handle it how you handle it. Just know I'm a professional. Hopefully she takes some classes, some shooting classes, you know, some MMA, all those type of things. But people like that don't fight fair. I'm gonna let y'all know. Talking about frequency, weapons, poison, car crashes, all types of things. So
all right, buckle up for this video, and for TikTok purposes, this is for entertainment only. Now, this is Nathan Reynolds. He was born into a family that has the ancient bloodline of those that are mentioned in Genesis 6. Now, I'm going to be very careful with my words in this video for obvious reasons, but he is now a spirit-filled born-again believer, and he talks very openly about what it was like being raised in the occult, being raised in that kind of environment, the activities that they would be constantly involved in, some of which are very hard to listen to. He talks openly about their interactions with the demonic realm, with fallen angels, and he came to the topic of the upcoming tribulation, about the upcoming Antichrist. And I'm going to play a 1-minute clip of what he said, and then I'm going to tell you what happened to me.
But his shot caller on the earth is going to be the beast who rises. That's Apollo. It's not some Nikolai Carpathia and Tim LaHaye and Jerry B. Jenkins Left Behind series brainwashed America and the world to think that it's some dude who's going to just show up one day and be real politically active. Not that guy. It's named in the Bible explicitly for a reason. It's not like a questionable thing. Death follows him. That's Anubis. That's the jackal-headed god. That's the false prophet. It's plainly said in the scriptures. They are going to come and physically inhabit actual thrones on the earth. The dragon, the devil, Azazel, is going to give his power, his reign, over to Apollo. They won't go by these names, right? They'll call him like the Traveler. They're going to call him celestial hosts. These gods, these aliens that have come. The guys who gave us life. Thank you, Prometheus. Those guys. That'll be much more the narrative that's conducive for their agenda. But these X-Men, like, they are literally children, bloodline inheritance children from Nimrod.
So at this point, I had been binge watching multiple of his videos, you know, just going from podcast to podcast. It's at the end of the day, nothing else is going on. I'm not emotional until I get to this point, and it comes out of absolutely nowhere. And I'm all of a sudden, like, just like a light switch, I'm uncontrollably emotional. I'm crying to a point where I can't even breathe. There was no sound coming out. I'm like trying to gather myself and like take a breath of air. And I'm laying there and I just get this image of ancient Egypt, but it was modernized in a way. And I'm watching and I'm just seeing like these giant freaks, these like giant demonic hybrids, and they're hunting down man, and there's chaos and people are screaming And, you know, God said it would be like it was in the days of Noah. And I literally sat there, y'all, and I had this like revelation. And I pray every single day that God will reveal to me the truth. And he took me down this road a few years ago out of nowhere. And he has shown me so much, you know, through the Bible, through the Apocrypha, about the spiritual side of all of this. And that's why I like this topic, because, you know, a lot of Christians don't like to learn about the spiritual war, about the entities that are all around us. I do. I find it fascinating. And, you know, God said that the end days would be exactly like it was in the days of Noah. And a lot of Christians don't understand exactly what happened in the days of Noah. The flood didn't come about. God didn't pour out his wrath just because there was sin. He poured out his wrath because literally there was one family left that was genetically pure, that hadn't been messed with by demonic entities, and that was Noah. Satan came down and tried to prevent Jesus from being born. There was demonic hybrids running and ruling this world. And that's why, you know, everywhere we see, they have these half human, half animal hybrids. And of course, we were taught that this is just Greek mythology. This was just weird stuff written on ancient hieroglyphics. Like, we didn't really think anything of it because we weren't taught, of course, that this actually happened, because that would correlate to the Genesis 6 narrative. That would correlate to actually why God flooded the earth. Every single ancient civilization had some form of these hybrids, some form, and some of them worshiped them as gods because they had demonic knowledge, they had demonic power. They were most of them were giants, so they were revered as little g gods. Okay, so just bear with me. So I'm laying there, I'm gathering myself, I can breathe normally again. I have him paused and I'm trying to analyze all of this, right? I have this image of ancient Egypt kind of in the future, I guess, and I'm thinking, like, what if he's right? What if all of us were trying to like look at this world, political figures, trying to figure out who could be the AC, who could be, you know, fulfilling prophecy, what this man's doing, he's making alliances over there. And I'm like, what if we're thinking too small? What if we're not thinking spiritual enough? And I'm like, God says it will be exactly like it was in the days of Noah. And we know that they're going to explain the rapture. And if you don't believe in the rapture, then you can prepare to endure all this. But once the rapture happens, they're going to explain it. Satan already has an explanation. He has his way of telling the world what happened without leading them to the Bible. So he's going to tell the world that we were abducted, right? So what if the little g gods, who are very much real, actually come back and they physically return to this world? And what if one of them, Apollo, will come down in the form of the fake Messiah? And because he is giant, because he is going to descend from the literal air, what if they're actually going to descend on this earth and everything is going to come back? Because I know, and I cannot talk about this, that they're doing things in labs. What if everything is going to be released? What if everything is going to come back? And the Antichrist is not some little mortal political dude on our TV screens, on our phone screens. What if he is actually going to be half demon, in a way that he actually descends from another dimension? And that is how the deception is so grand. That is how the deception is so overwhelming. And that is why it says that men's hearts fail them from fear. That period of time, you literally have hybrids walking this earth again. And what if the false prophet comes with him and is literally this freak? And again, I could be totally off. I could be totally in left field with this, and I am just crazy, but it makes sense. It makes sense, as in the days of Noah. And it makes sense, the deception aspect. It makes sense, the deception level. It makes sense because the Antichrist is going to be seen as the Messiah. The Antichrist is going to try to be Jesus, and he kind of can't be just some political guy that we've been seeing, right? But he might not even be some political guy that's just been in an office somewhere on this earth. What if he's actually going to be one of these demons, one of these spirits, one of these fallen angels from the days of Noah. Now, the first seal is the rider on the white horse. That is the Antichrist. So the rider actually represents a real person that will participate in the tribulation. The fourth seal has two riders on a pale horse. And what if death in Hades is actually the arrival of Anubis and somebody else, because Anubis is the god of the underworld? So what if the riders on the pale horse actually represent the arrival of the false prophet and somebody else that plays a role in the tribulation? And then I'm digging a little deeper and I'm reading about the locusts that are released from the literal pits of hell to torment men. And it says, and the shapes of the locusts were like unto horses prepared unto battle, and on their heads were as it were crowns like gold, and their faces were as the faces of men. And they had hair as the hair of women, and their teeth were as the teeth of lions, and they had breastplates as it were breastplates of iron, and the sound of their wings was as the sound of chariots of many horses running into battle, and they had tails like unto scorpions, and there were stings in their tails, and their power was to hurt men for 5 months. What if everything is coming back? What if what we have been thinking is truly, like I heard in my spirit, child's play? What if it will be exactly like it was in the days of Noah? And what if when God said that men's hearts will fail them from fear, one of the reasons is because these things are now walking the earth again?
Hell no.
I hope everybody knows by now that the fallen angels run our world. The earth is Satan's domain, and his fallen angels are at the top of the pyramid, if you will. Now, the book of Enoch, chapter 6, tells us that there were 200 of the leaders of these fallen angels. They met on Mount Hermon and they signed an agreement. At the very top of Mount Hermon, there's a building that says UN on the roof, but that's not for this video. Today we're going to talk about the Palace of Peace and Reconciliation. This is located in Kazakhstan, and it is to represent all of the world's religious faiths. Now, this is a beautifully constructed building, and it's at the point of what looks to be a phoenix. Here's an aerial view. Everything in this city is futuristic. It's all kind of like symbolic looking. Across from it is the presidential palace, and there's more kind of like symbolic stuff. I can't say what that looks like, but it's all very futuristic. What's interesting is at the very top of the Palace of Peace and Reconciliation is a boardroom that has, guess how many seats? 200 seats. Could this be where the leaders of our world meet? Here's the inside of it. It is really odd to me. If you really sit back and think about, you know, the fact that Satan does run our world, and it's real that fallen angels run our world. I mean, it is a real thing that demons take physical form and rule our world, and to be looking at, you know, a place where they might all sit and meet, it is kind of creepy. It's beautiful though. Satan disguises himself as an angel of light. Now, this building was designed to represent all of the world's religions, but when you read, it says that the top floor was designed a space dedicated to meetings with leaders of a particular religion. So that sounds to me like the top floor was designed for something special. Here's the design of the building. So the sunlight's supposed to come through the top and shine down all the way to the bottom. Here's some drawings of it, but I thought that one was interesting on the right. Kind of reminds me of the ancient Egyptian pyramids that harvested energy. Now this is where it gets so odd, and it really confirms that this city is up to no good. Let's just put it that way. So down the river from these two buildings, you'll see this building, but then right in the middle of the river, there's a portal. And all of the spots around this portal, like there's one like right there. You can't, if you click on it, the portal's gone. So it does not let you view this portal up close, but if you click across the river, you will see it in plain view. And there's just people walking around next to a portal. No big deal. Probably grew up with it. Don't question it. Pretty bizarre, to say the least. Right next to the portal, there was this weather vane, and I thought it kind of looked odd in itself, kind of looked, you know, symbolic of a portal. So when you zoom in, you know, they always say that symbolism will be their downfall because it's pretty consistent. So we see this image here, and wait till I show you what this reminded me of. But it's this big circular thing with these pyramids, and they all have little animals on them. I don't know if these are little animals. I zoomed in and I can't really tell what they are, but just a big weather vane. Everything's circular like that. This is the first thing that it reminded me of. So it's always that circular thing with like blobs on it. And this is a monument to some god. I can't remember what god, some demonic god though. But this is what it reminded me of. And it's just interesting, you know, that it's all around us. And they say symbolism will be their downfall because they like their symbolism. So, you know, again, another red flag.
Anyway,
Don't ever forget
he did it.
that movies
No,
are documentaries.
that symbol isn't anywhere on the device. Well, what device?
Men in Black, Stargate, Contact,
Show it.
Truman Show. Ancient Egypt, Greek mythology, UFOs, biblical and modern day giants, and even mermaids all go back to the fallen angels.
Hey man, she cooking right now, man. Make sure y'all smash that like button.
And you and I have been lied to about it all. Now for this video, we're gonna go back to where this all started, Genesis 6:4, when the fallen angels mated with the women on earth. And we're gonna explain this because there is a lot of confusion about how angels reproduced. Genesis 6:4, there were giants on the earth in those days and also afterward when the sons of God, angels, came into the daughters of men, humans, and they bore children to them. They were the mighty men who were of old, men of renown. New International Version is more literal. It says the Nephilim were on the earth in those days and also afterwards. We get the word giant from the root word nephal, which is the singular of Nephilim. Nephilim is the plural of nephal. It means to fall. So Nephilim means the fallen ones. Jude 6 explains this further. He says, and the angels who did not keep their proper domain, but left their own abode, he has reserved in everlasting chains under darkness for the judgment of the great day. Now, angels have free will, just like you and I do. So there were angels that left their proper domain. They left the power of God. They left heaven, followed Satan. Out of that group of angels that were following Satan, there were angels that were watching the women on earth. They decided they had to have them. So those angels, out of the whole group, those angels left the spiritual realm, came down, took a physical form in our 3D dimension. They left their dimension, came into ours in physical form, and mated with the women on earth. Book of Enoch explains this even further. You being spiritual, holy, and possessing a life which is eternal, obviously talking about the sons of God, the angels, have polluted yourselves with women, have begotten in carnal blood, have lusted in the blood of men, and have done as those who are flesh and blood do. I know the top is a little cut off. This is talking about the giants. So this is the fallen angels' offspring. Now the giants who have been born of spirit and of flesh shall be called upon earth evil spirits, and on earth shall be their habitation. Now, evil spirits shall proceed from their flesh, because they were created from above. From the holy watchers was their beginning and primary foundation. Evil spirits shall they be upon earth, and the spirits of the wicked shall they be called. The habitation of the spirits of heaven shall be in heaven, but upon earth shall be the habitation of terrestrial spirits who are born on earth. Now, how does that relate to these guys, these, or even mermaids? For this, we go to the Book of Enoch, and we will get into UFOs here in a second. First, we have to establish what exactly was going on before the flood. And all the others together with them took unto themselves wives. This was not a mutual thing. Adam and Eve were perfect. They were the epitome of beauty. So their offspring were all beautiful human beings. So the women on earth at that time were absolutely gorgeous. So the fallen angels saw them, had to have them. They departed from their spiritual realm, came into the 3D realm, took physical form, and essentially raped the women, and the women gave birth to giants. Number 2, and they became pregnant, and they bare great giants whose height was 3,000 ells, who consumed all the acquisitions of men. And when men could no longer sustain them, the giants turned against them and devoured mankind. This even plays into the giants we see today.
Go watch Attack on Titan, y'all.
This was in 2002. This is the Kandahar giant. I will do a video on this soon. They are still walking the earth today, and they are cannibalistic. Down here, number 5. And they began to sin against birds, beasts, reptiles, and fish, and to devour one another's flesh and drink the blood. Because angels were not meant to reproduce, when they utilized their free will, followed the epitome of evil, Satan, things happened that were not supposed to happen. It corrupted mankind. It corrupted the lineage of creation. This is why we see things like this or this.
But that's that. I get it. Why God came down here and was like, you know what? Y'all gotta go. I gotta flood this thing. Y'all out here. They out here, bruh. They out here busting fish cheeks, human cheeks, horse cheeks. They interbreeding with everything. They're abominations for sure. The story just makes way more sense. But look, for people that don't believe in the Bible and stuff like that, you should get to a point in your life where you're able to hear conversations and, read certain things that you don't necessarily agree with, just to see if you're making the right decision for yourself. Some people cut it off because of fear, but I'm one of those people. I can look at any type of text or information and get something from it, man. It's not all emotional, and you have, emotional triggers don't have to be a part of it. But this right here is crazy.
I mean, there was evil beyond evil. There was deplorable things walking the earth, and Noah and his sons were the only genetically pure beings left on the earth. The entire earth was filled with this. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Stay with me. So back in Jude, we see the consequence to what happened to the angels, because our God is a just God. So the angels that decided to mate with the women, they were cast into chains, they were cast into hell. Now, Jews in Jesus' time commonly referred to demons as Tamu Nephal, which means dead Nephal or dead Nephilim. Demons are the disembodied spirits of the dead Nephilim. When God flooded the entire earth, it wiped out all of the flesh. The spirits remained. God tells us that demonic spirits need a host. They are like parasites. They need a house to inhabit. They need a body to possess. Now, we know after the flood, it did not take long at all before evil was on the rise again. Why? Because the spirits of the Nephilim still remained on earth. How this all played out after the flood, how giants walk the earth again, there is no clear answer to. It is a possibility that Noah's daughters-in-law did not have a pure bloodline, so their offspring paired up with the disembodied spirits of the Nephilim gave rise to the giants. It gave rise to all of that evil again. We do know for certain is there were giants on those earth in those days and also afterwards. So God is very clear that it started right up again. Now this brings us to the UFOs, because as it was in the days of Noah, so it will be in the Son of Man. Aliens are the fallen angels, and they are here attempting to do the exact same thing they did before the flood. The earliest well-known UFO abduction was in 1957, and if you and I know anything, that means that it had been going on well before that. This is what they want us to know. Boas underwent what he described as medical examinations. He claimed to have had physical samples taken, hair, blood, and skin scrapings. Interaction, here it is. He also reported an interaction with a female alien, which resulted in what he believed was an attempt at reproduction. What's interesting is every single UFO abduction account, there is always some kind of sexual interaction, because the fallen angels are attempting to reproduce with man. And this is why we have giants walking the earth and have always had giants walking the earth. Satan has always been trying to corrupt mankind, because you and I are made in the image of God, and he literally hates us for it. All of this leads to this, the rapture of the church. It is going to be in the near future, any single second now. It could be this evening, it could be next year, it could be 5 years from now. I don't know, but it is soon. And it is going to be in a single second when millions of believers in Jesus Christ will be removed from this earth and we are taken home to heaven. However, the government will come in, the world will come in and try to explain this event, because they can't come in and tell you that God took us home to heaven and, well, you're left on your own. So what are they going to do? They're going to say that we were abducted by aliens and those left behind are the chosen ones. A perfect way to unite the world. What a perfect way to usher in world peace. What a perfect way to usher in a one world system, one world government, one world religion. They already have the statement ready because they have been preparing for this for years. Just like true believers know that we are in the season, Satan knows we are in the season. And that's why we are seeing such an influx of UFOs and alien discussion, because he has his little minions, his fallen angels ready, and they are circulating. So once the church is removed, we go up, they come down.
Maybe the only way to unite this incredibly divided world of ours. They're out there, we better think of how all the differences among people on Earth would seem small if we felt threatened by a space invader. That's the whole theory of independence.
You're right.
Everybody gets together, it makes nice.
Wow, absolutely. What an amazing video, man. It's a lot of food for thought in this video right here, man. I had to take a day off just to put this one together for y'all, because I was having visions, dreams, downloads, whatever you want to call them. I can't necessarily give y'all my full message on video, but I can't give it to you in code on here, if y'all can tell what I'm saying. For everybody that's watching this video, I would like to tell y'all just to get right, spiritually, mentally, physically, all of these things. Most of us feel like something is about to happen. It could be a spiritual attack. It could be a physical attack. I just want y'all to be ready for anything. I want you to be mentally strong. I want to be out here in the world if something does pop off in a bad way for us. I want us to be able to band together and be able to understand that we can trust each other to survive. You know, one of the most important things that we need to do here is, as adults, we need to protect the young ones. We need to stand up. We need to put our lives on the line. We need to stand on business. I just need to know, if something does pop off, can I depend on you to stand on business? And if you want to stand on business, if you are going to stand on business, let me know in the comments down below. I'm letting y'all know, I pledge to y'all right now, I'm standing on business. I'm prepared mentally, physically. I'll put it all on the line for all of us. But I'm gonna rewatch this video, man. Hopefully y'all liked it. I see you on the next video. And like I always say, spread love, because there's too much hate in this world. Love you guys. I see you on the next video. And I'm out though. Bye.